Micronesia. I'm Jesse Mendiola.
I'm Johnny Rosario.
And I'm Troy Torres.
We are live tonight on Kandit News. It is October 27th, 2019.
Welcome to our studios here in Tumon, Guam. I'm sick. I don't feel well, so
I forced him. I have a knife right here in my hand, and I'm going to stab him.
So sometime in the beginning of this live cast, I'm actually going to head out, but I wanted to be a part of this show because we have our guest in studio and our co-host, Jesse Mendiola, the one and only.
The one and only.
The one and only Jesse. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
We really
Thanks,
appreciate
brother.
it.
It's an honor.
Johnny, thank you so much for holding down the fort last week with Eric. Thank you. Cello, thank you so much for doing that. So we're back in studio with the TriCaster or whatever it's called, the blah, 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 technical blah, blah, blah. Tonight we have a special show. We're going to have one on-read news story, and we'll start with that. And after that, it's just going to be a free-flowing discussion on drug addiction, but the mainstay is gambling.
Gambling, yes.
Gambling addiction and Liberty Machines, and this is all part of our investigative series, Blood Money. Yeah, so let's start. Public Auditor Benjamin Cruz lashed out on government officials responsible for the conduct of casino gaming at the recent Liberation Carnival. In an audit released last week of the gambling operations financials, Mr. Cruz lamented the poor financial controls that resulted in the claim that the gambling operator paid more in winnings than gamblers put into the pot. The operators paid almost nothing in taxes and licenses as a result. Mr. Cruz does not know how much in gross is collected, as that is not required to be audited under the law. Mr. Cruz believes the tax should be levied against gross, which it is currently not. The parallels between the Carnival Casino and the tax on Liberty Machines is notable. The legislature in 2013 allowed the operation of blood money sucking Liberty Machines in exchange for a tax on profits after cash winnings are backed out, meaning the government has lost out on hundreds of millions of dollars unaccounted for and circulating in the black market. Mr. Cruz's audit of the Carnival Casino coincides with Kandit's investigation into the Liberty Machines operated by Gil and Connie Jo Shinihara, Johnny Cool Torres, Lauren Bromley, and the estate of Pedro Dongo Pangilinan. The Liberty owners, based on the taxes reported as paid between fiscal years 2015 and 2018, profited $107 million during those years after supposed winnings were paid. The winnings, though taxable income, is virtually unreported, unlike bingo operations. Liberty game room operators are not required to collect taxes on winnings as the winnings are paid out. The cash nature of the business and the high potential for leakages raised suspicion from lawmakers and anti-gambling advocates, including Mr. Cruz, from the start that the money flowing through these game rooms would go unreported. This has placed Kandit on a money laundering trail in its investigation, a piece of the Blood Money series that continues tonight regarding large-scale land transactions and a federal banking investigation that all began in 2016. So this is what had happened.
Fill me in.
This is the investigation that we've been doing, which still requires a lot more of a look at the 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019 property tax rules. We've been able, so far,
What is tax rolls?
the property tax rules, which shows the owner of each property on this island.
Okay.
The size of the land, whether there is an improvement, like a house or some kind of building on the land, how much the land is being taxed, et cetera, et cetera. This is how you can tell.
What the land is worth.
Yeah, there's the appraised value of the land according to the last property assessment, right? We started, well, of course, we were curious about the owners of the Liberty Machines,
Yes.
right? Mm-hmm. So we started to look at their names in the property tax roll, and we saw some significant movement, land transactions that began in the year 2016, and land transactions that continue to change hands from 2016 through 2019. It is, so right now, as you can imagine, it's a lot to look through.
Yeah.
But right now, just in the village of Santa Rita alone, we're looking at some major transactions that occurred in some very shady business. And it all goes back to 2015, 2016, when Guam Music Inc., which is the parent company of these Liberty Machines, they're making all this money, right? They're making
Millions of dollars.
yeah, and it's a cash business. It's not like you can't go with your
Or debit card,
with your
credit
debit card or whatever. You have to
Yeah,
use cash
cash.
to put into these machines, and the winnings that you're paid, they don't have. It's not like bingo where if you make over if you bingo at $1,199 or more,
You're taxed.
you have to pay the tax right then
Right
and
then
there.
and
Or at
there.
least the operators make you do that.
Yes.
Because the operators don't want to have to deal with the paperwork, right?
Yeah.
At these Liberty Machine game rooms, they don't do that.
No.
They pay out your
They pay out
whatever
whatever
you
you win.
made.
You're supposed to anything over $3,000. They tell you have to sign
a
this little piece of
paper.
But
It's
when-
not a revenue tax paper,
But
right?
It's
when
not
I
a revenue
win-
tax paper.
When I win
Yeah.
on 5 machines and it's $1,000
Dollars
each
each
machine,
machine.
they won't make me fill that paper out
Yeah.
because
'Cause
not
it's
one
1,000
machine
per
each
machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's been ever since the start of this whole Liberty thing, the questions were, how are we going to account for the difference between the net and the gross, or the gross and the net, like with the earnings and stuff, or with the winnings? Who's going to keep track of that throughout the night when these Liberty Machine game rooms are operating 24 hours? So it's become a huge cash business.
Oh,
a
very huge.
100% cash business that makes a lot of cash every single day. So much so that there is an amount of money that is reported to the government of Guam as taxable income from these game rooms. And there was another amount of money that sometime in 2015, 2016
Was diverted?
diverted by certain owners of these game rooms and Liberty Machines and invested into land in order to launder the money.
So they didn't report those earnings
No,
that
no,
they've accrued.
no.
That was their way of not reporting it.
Wow.
Here's where they made a mistake. There was a bag of cash of $1 million that was left uninvested.
Okay.
And so the late Dongo Pangilinan decided to take the bag of cash to the Bank of Guam. And interestingly, Bank of Guam, for all of its, we're against gambling, and Governor Lulian Grows, we're against gambling, and Jackie Murati works there, and she's Lanalis in Casino, the only bank on this island that takes gambling money.
Wow.
And it takes money from people who are sacking money from people. Like what is that thing called? They said they're gonna invest. You put $500. You give put.
Oh, that
put
Nigerian scams,
Yeah,
Nigerian
put
money
And
scams.
the lady's name is Annie Cruz.
Yeah,
at
yeah,
Bank
yeah.
of Guam. I have the information. I was supposed to tell everybody about that story.
Yeah.
They contact these people through Facebook, tell them to put in $500 into this Annie Cruz bank account
Yeah.
at Bank
And
of
it's a
Guam.
real bank account.
And it's a real bank account at Bank
Wow.
of Guam. And they're gonna get a $60,000 loan or something.
Approved.
Now, in
Yeah.
case you're not bright, don't do that. Just in case, okay? Like,
It's a
Annie
scam,
Cruz
guys.
is a scam, all right? Okay, so what happens in, I think it's 2016, is Mr. Pangilinan takes his wad of cash to the Bank of Guam. I don't know why. I'm not sure if anyone told him that something like, or maybe he expected that nobody would raise a red flag.
Yeah.
But of course, a deposit like that raises a red
Red
flag.
flag.
Anything over $10,000 deposit, it sends
Raise-
flags to the feds.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's just a lot of cash
Yeah.
moving
Yes.
at one time. And so the flag was sent. And so Bank of Guam had to crack down on reports and stuff like that. Anyway, the federal government got involved.
Oh,
and started
interesting.
to investigate Guam Music Inc. As a result, one of the owners from off island, Lauren Bromley, had to come to Guam. and
She's the
fix things.
controlling owner.
Yes.
Yes. And so there was a split that happens in the company, but too late. A lot of money that
Went out already.
Lauren never knew about and that the
So-
government of Guam never knew about was invested in this land. And over the series of years from 2016, 2017, 2018, into 2019, there are transactions that have happened that we're only beginning to scratch the surface on in our investigation into this money laundering scheme.
The game rooms are the best place to launder the money. It's strictly cash. It's like a
Strictly
laundromat.
cash. Yeah. So
And they
I-
don't give a fuck where the money comes from.
So
No, they don't.
And so that's a great segue, because we go from up here with all the big wigs and
Yeah.
all of their money to where does that money come from, and it starts at the
With the
bottom.
people.
Before we even start with how these people get into the game rooms, or before we start with people entering the game rooms, let's start with why they're entering the game rooms, and let's talk about drug addiction.
Triggers.
Now, I'm not a gambling person. I think gambling is so boring, but I am a
Drug
addict.
Yeah.
Who I just
Recovering gen-
I haven't done drugs in a very long time, obviously, but this is a part of the conversation that I can talk about, and then maybe the two of you can talk a lot more about the game rooms thing,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Whew.
we
Where do you
can.
want to start?
So let's talk about drug addiction.
Okay, first of all, let me give you a backstory about who I am. I'm a recovering drug addict, been clean and sober for about 3.5 years.
And I do know Jesse on a personal level. We are ex-brother and
Sister-in-laws.
sister-in-law.
I've known Johnny for well over 25 years
Yes.
or something like that.
Yes.
I've started using meth since 1993, and then from then on, it grabbed every bit of my soul. And once I was introduced to the game rooms, that was it. It was a recipe and a cocktail for a disaster.
What kind of user were you?
I was a meth user.
No, I mean like, were you chronic, 8 ball?
There were.
Were you
I had
busting your teeth?
8 ball. Okay, no, I wasn't 8 ball. You didn't have to shake me to figure out the answer. I was a chronic user in my early years. Then I went to selling dope.
Okay.
Then I found it hard to balance having my family and hiding it from them and selling drugs at the same time. So I went back to using and not selling.
Oh, you hit it. So you hid it from your family.
Oh yeah, I hid it from my family. From the mother of my kids for so many years. She
That's what they think that
That-
they're
yeah.
hiding.
She
but
knew.
they
I'm sure she knew.
You know, but
I'm sure she knew.
mentally,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I lie to myself thinking that they don't
No.
know, but they know, because here I am. I'm in the middle of the night. I'm gone at 2:00 in the morning, about to go get my fix, then about to go to the game room, trying to hit it big so I can get another fix.
What would you tell whoever was home that
Your wife.
where you were at?
My ex, the mother of my kids, she's sleeping, so I did her dirty. I'll tell you right now, I did her dirty.
Okay.
I would steal money from her
Okay.
to go feed my addiction.
Which one?
Both.
Okay.
The gambling and drugs. There was this one point where she had her tax return. I believe it was like $5,000, and I left her with like $10.
Why don't you guys tell people? Let's skip it. Let's just for a second, just so people understand real quick,
Yeah.
how easy it is to spend something like $5,000.
30
Oh
minutes.
man, I've spent
30 minutes?
I put
30 minutes.
$1,000 in the game room and lost it in 10 minutes. I was betting because they have the dollar machine, 50-cent machine, and 25-cent machine, right? I was betting $99 per bet on $1,000. I lost that in 10 minutes.
Yeah, because that's for every bet, it's
$99.
$99. So that's 10 bets only.
Yeah, so I went straight home, grabbed another $1,000, came back, lost that again. Then now I had to call up my drug where I got my drugs. Hey man, I lost your money, man. So now I'm in debt.
Okay. So we're jumping. Those are all great topics, and we're jumping ahead.
Yeah.
Let's stick to drug addiction.
Okay.
First, how often?
And
did you-
then when did you get in trouble with the law?
Ooh,
The first
okay,
time?
my first arrest was not too long after I picked up the pipe. I was arrested in 1993 for robbery.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yes.
1993 for
why
robbery.
why did you rob so that
I-
you could get your fix?
Oh, to get my fix. I purse snatched. I went out there and I grabbed the purse on rollerblades.
And Jess was a
On
fucking-
rollerblades.
Jess was a master motherfucking rollerblader. I'm not kidding.
She knows.
Did you,
I'm not
did you do the turn around?
I just about. I'm like this. I'm on the street. I'm running for the cops like that, man. The cops were chasing me. The cops were chasing me on rollerblades. They got
Did
me.
they tackle you?
No, they didn't tackle me. I was like, I gave up. Then I just came from, it was Liberty House at the time. And I just, shoplifted some clothes. So I had the tags on. I was still wearing them. I had the tags on, and the cops were like, okay, now you're, shoplifting too? So they just took me, I got arrested, was on probation. My family, of course, they were there for me. Then, after that, from 1996 to like 2001, I would get arrested for various crimes, from theft of property. Then in 2006, 2007, I got another robbery charge.
Okay.
Another robbery charge. That robbery charge was pleaded down to a theft of property because I was looking at some time there. I was looking at like 10 to 15 years there. I pleaded it down to a theft of property as a third-degree felony, so they gave me time served, 2 years probation. Then That's when my folks, when my other half and I split up. I fell really bad into the drugs, even worse, because I was trying to deflect the main problem, and not deal with the issue of losing my family due to my own stupidity.
Due to the drug use.
Due to my drug use. So I lost my family, and then they sent me off island. Got even worse. It's what an ounce back there was like $300.
What state did they send you to?
California. I was in the Bay Area, so I'm up there in the Bay Area.
Good
I buy me
times.
an ounce for like $300. I send it over here, and I'm making $10,000 off the ounce.
Yeah, if you are, if you have a family member who has an addiction, don't send them to L.A., Seattle, Vegas, San Francisco, El Paso.
Now, if you're gonna send them to the Betty Ford Clinic,
Yeah, send them to Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Send them to Rhode Island. Send them
Or
far, far away.
Salt Lake City.
Yes.
somewhere.
So what happened is, I tried to bring dope back to Guam. I got hemmed up at the airport.
What's hemmed up?
I got caught up at the airport.
You got caught?
Yeah, I got caught at the
remember
airport.
this. I remember
And
this.
I was wearing a shirt when they took my mugshot. The cops were laughing because I was wearing a shirt that says "What happened last night."
Wow.
So the cops were laughing. So here I am. I'm getting my mugshot, and
And this motherfucker brought in pipes galore.
I brought a pipe.
Where did you conceal everything?
Just in my luggage. I thought I had the swag to walk through customs.
So it was just a straight up risk.
Straight up risk. But I did not realize I had a warrant of arrest for child support. I had a warrant of arrest for child support. So when I came back and they ran my name through the system, popped up that I got a warrant. So they took me back. They did a search. I was like, oh, I'm fucked. And my folks are outside waiting on me. I never came out.
And Jesse is the parents' apple of
I'm
their
the-
eye.
I'm the-
That's the baby. He cannot do anything
I cannot do anything wrong.
It's not his fault.
And then my dad was working at the airport, so he had one of the airport police officers, the one that told him, we got your boy.
Okay.
So and then when I got out of jail, I still didn't learn my lesson. I called my plug back in the States to send me something. He sent me something, and this time the feds got me.
Wait, they didn't get you at the airport?
No, that was local.
Okay.
Yeah, because the amount I was bringing in was for personal use.
But then again, it could be because you're dad. We have to
Probably.
be very honest.
Probably.
You know,
Maybe. You know.
So you had someone mail something to you?
Yeah, I had the homie back there mail me something, and that's when they got me.
Okay.
Somebody,
How did they know that
somebody snitched on me?
Yeah, somebody
snitched on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody knew the package. Somebody other than myself knew. That was my mistake, and I believe it was a female. I let her in on what was going on, and then
And you made her mad?
probably, I don't know what happened. But then right when I signed for the package, I turned around, two white dudes, in floor print, tapped me on the shoulder, said, "Sir, can you follow us?" I'm like, damn.
Was the female's name Cynthia?
No, you mean Brenda? Nah.
Oh,
No. No, not Brenda.
sorry, wrong me.
Yeah, no. And the first person I called when I got hemmed up was Randall Cunliffe. He told me not to say nothing. He was
Smartest words coming from
he
a
was a
defense attorney.
great lawyer. So I shut up, and then statute of limitations right when it was about to go up. That's when the feds
picked you up.
they picked me up. That's what they do. They wait.
Oh yeah, they have all the time. They're nothing like the locals.
Yeah.
You know.
What have you lost? Just strictly on the drug abuse.
Okay.
Thing. What have you lost in life?
I've lost everything, man.
Like what? Like let's
I lost my family, relationship with my 3 kids. When I got out of prison, I got them back momentarily. I'm having issues currently with my daughter, but I still got my son. I lost of course, the mother of my kids. It was a very toxic relationship, so we just went our separate ways. I didn't take it well. My parents, my sisters lost their brother and their son. I lost government jobs. Post office. I had an opportunity to work in the post office, but I just never wanted to get off the drugs. Drugs grabbed a hold of me like nothing else. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I loved the drugs more than I loved my kids at that time.
Okay.
I was compensating, and I'm being honest. I'm being honest because these stories need to be told. people need to know that there's an issue out there with regards to drugs, and not just meth. As of recently, the last few years, pills have become up to par with meth. In terms of profits, it's meth, of course, but in terms of usage, there's a lot of pill poppers out there.
And it's just gonna turn into heroin addiction.
It's going to turn into an outright, and that drug once you're in with the heroin, oh my gosh, oh man, the withdrawals on that, the difficulty ratio of kicking that habit it's high.
I'm not in with anything, not even the administration. But I mean, just like you, I love ice.
Oh yeah, I love it.
I love ice, but I choose not to do it because I don't want to lose.
Yeah,
anything.
I mean,
And I have lost things, and I've lost my privacy, which has been always the most important thing to me. I can never get that back.
you can never.
And Johnny tells me I just have to deal with it. And my way of dealing with it is to punish a lot of people who took away my privacy.
Call them out on their bullshit.
But now it's. I mean, I lost that, and now I have to look over my shoulder every now. It's one of the shittiest things in the world, and I don't want to lose anything more.
But you know what comes with my sobriety? Peace. Let me tell you, I don't have to stress out about who's gonna rob me, who's gonna rip me off in terms of I give them dope and they don't pay. They don't pay. I don't have to worry about the cops. I don't have to worry about snitching. I don't have to worry about nothing but waking up every morning, getting ready for work, and coming home to the woman I love. That's all I gotta worry
Amen.
about.
Let's talk about that not having to worry about money thing, because sure, if you are an 8-ball and if you buy 50 plates at a time, you're gonna keep buying 50 plates until you're broke. But the more seasoned users know how to, they know how to budget their
They know
drugs,
how to budget,
right?
yes.
It's not necessarily the cost of drugs that brings people down financially. It's these
Game
Liberty
rooms.
machines. So what
Game
can you
rooms.
guys?
Oh.
Can you guys please take it from here because
Yes.
I need to.
Okay.
Sorry
but
guys,
I
I'm really
wanted
tired.
to ask, since you've been sober, what have you gained?
Oh
Wait.
yeah. Wait.
Confidence, support, a lot of
Yes.
support from people. Yeah. And peace of mind, I suppose.
You've gained a clearer picture of what life is really all about with your sobriety.
But you know what, I would say that if it wasn't for my past, I wouldn't understand it
Now.
now.
Yes.
So
Didn't understand
Yeah.
what we're doing.
So our
Yeah.
past was a necessary evil.
sure, and I don't regret my past.
Yes, I don't regret one thing I've done. I've hurt a lot of people. I've committed a lot of crimes that I will not self-incriminate myself. I will not incriminate myself.
Anything but past 3 years we can talk about.
Okay,
So
great.
as long as it's within the 3 years, let's not talk
Well,
about that.
well, fraud might be like a little longer.
Oh,
I
I've
think.
never done fraud.
I've never done fraud.
Yeah.
I've never done fraud. But
So let me just say, I just want to say this is my history. I never really talked about how I got into drugs and what led me to where I am today. In 2003, I was living in San Diego, and I packed up my family and I moved. I got married to a white guy. I went to live in San Diego.
Johnny Fortner.
yes. That's why when she was
Google that shit.
when she was back there, I'm like, who the hell's Johnny Fortner?
Yeah, I even
I
had
know
blonde
you-
hair, right? When I came home, I had blonde hair. Anyways, I started using back there. My marriage wasn't working out. And the person who gave me dope to try wasn't a stranger. It was someone who was living, that I allowed to live in my home because he was family, kind of, and he needed a fresh start
Yeah.
in the States.
It always starts with family.
Yeah, it's never a stranger. So please, people, remember that. It's never a stranger that lets you try a drug. It's always somebody that's part of your family, a close friend that's always around, you know.
Yep.
So that's how I started. I was 80 pounds after I gave birth to my daughter, and I lost 80 pounds in less than 2 months.
Oh gosh, man.
Yeah. And then I decided, and I was using every day, it was really bad. And then I decided to come clean.
Yeah.
to my husband. I came clean, and then of course I asked him not to tell, but what did he do? He told. So I decided I'm gonna pack up and come. I even went into a rehab back there.
Oh, you did?
To fix myself. I was in there for 2 weeks. He came to visit me at lunchtime, and I was the only female in the rehab center, and he came to visit me, and he saw me talking to another man, and he didn't like it. So he
Wasn't he in the military or something?
Yes, he was a chief in the Navy.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So after I got out, things didn't work out, so I came home. Well, when I came home,
Oh, it was over.
the drug scene was so different from back there.
Yes.
$50 would get me so much
so much.
drugs back there,
Yes.
and here, so for like a good 6 to 8 months, I needed to figure out how I was gonna get high here, you know. And then in 2004, I met somebody who, at the time, I didn't know what was going on in the house, and then we became lovers, and it was it was pretty bad. And then then he showed me what was going on, and that's how I learned how to cook dope.
She was a good cook, by the way.
So
She was a good cook. No, I ain't gonna lie. She was a good cook.
So that was the beginning of 2004, and then from there, learning how to cook dope. My first time getting in trouble with the law, it was in 2004, December.
I remember that.
We got busted with so much
In Sinahanya,
dope.
right? In Sinahanya? Yes.
So much dope, so much money, and I didn't get in trouble locally. I got in trouble with the feds, right?
Go figure your first time with the
My
feds.
first time with the feds. Well, because we had good lawyers, we actually won that case in federal court.
Mm-hmm.
We were looking, the charges that I had on me, we were looking at 40 years in jail.
Yeah.
And we took it to trial, and we won.
Yeah.
We won on a technicality. We didn't win because we were not guilty.
I think there was 4 of you.
Yes. We won on a technicality because Guam police fucked it up, and they didn't have a warrant to raid our house.
If I'm not mistaken, the warrant was for a stolen item,
Yes.
not for drug
Nothing.
a drug lab or
Yeah,
anything.
and when the police came, the girl who took the stolen item didn't know that it was stolen.
Yes.
And it was there, and all they had to do, all they should have done was take in the stolen item, because the person who took the item didn't know that it was stolen.
Yeah.
So that didn't happen. Of course, they wanted other things, so they got us. That didn't teach me a lesson at all. I cooked dope for the next 3 years. And then I finally got in trouble again, 2007, for cooking dope. I pled, my family, of course, once again, you're not guilty. They beat,
Yeah.
like in my family's eyes, I'm not guilty. So
She can't do no wrong.
Yeah, right? So they wanted to they wanted to fire that lawyer, and they wanted to get another lawyer, and I wasn't having it. I said, you know what, Johnny, you need to take responsibility
Yeah.
for your actions. And I pled out, and I stayed clean for 6 years.
You were working at PMC at that time.
Yes.
And my future wife was working with you.
That's how I met Leanne.
And I would go there and visit Matthew.
Yes.
And I'd see you and I'd be like, damn, she's sober.
I was chunky butt, right? I was a chunky butt.
She's sober. And I was still getting high.
Yeah, I remember.
I was still getting high a lot.
Yeah. Because Matt asked for some help, and I sent him to someone who might be able
Oh,
to help.
yeah. I remember that.
Huh? Oh, break. You want to go on a break?
Yeah, so could reset.
Oh, okay. Okay, we're going to go on a break. We'll be right back, I guess.
Three
Yeah.
minutes.
3 minutes. Well, welcome back,
Welcome back.
guys. Okay, where was I? Oh, I got clean and sober for 6 years, and then I relapsed.
Yeah.
And I relapsed hard. Every time I feel like when you get sober and you relapse, you
hit
get
harder.
worse. Yes.
Was this when you were staying in Barragata? Behind Happy Mart?
Let's not talk about that. That
Those
is
were ugly times.
yes. No, that was before.
Oh, that was
that
before.
that was before I got sober. When
see.
when you came to check me at
Yeah.
the apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're driving that big black truck or
Yeah.
gray truck. Yeah, that was before I got in trouble.
Ah.
I think I was only like 90 pounds.
You were pregnant too, I think.
Yeah, it was bad. I was oh, I was.
You were
yes. I was
pregnant.
pregnant with my baby, Joshua.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 12 now. He'll be 13 in
Yes.
January. Healthy boy. Anyways, so yes, I was a user who was using, or I was a user who was pregnant at one point. I didn't care about anybody but myself. My kids would ask me not to leave, and I always chose the
Yeah.
dope. I would walk out the door.
Yes.
You know, and in my own head, I would think they're okay because they have food, they have light, they have shelter. You know, they're fine. You know, but in reality, they're not fine.
See, when I was locked up and I was in isolation and I got out, right? I'd be choking up to myself. Not full on crying, just choking up. And then my bunkie, this was at DOC, my bunkie would be like, why the fuck you crying? Mm-hmm. I was like, because I'm thinking of my kids. He's like, well, you didn't think of them when you got your ass in here, did you? Mm-hmm. And, you know, that's the thing about old-timer inmates. They talk real talk to you.
Yeah.
They talk real talk. When I was in federal prison, Honofri Charkalov, and I say this again, that guy said he's one of my saving graces, because when I was going to R&D, which is receiving and discharge, to process out, he told me, Jess, there's many of us here who are not going to be able to see the light of day.
Who don't get that chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do us a favor and stay free for us.
Yeah.
So that's when, you know, and with the passing of my father, that's when I told myself, I said, you know what, I'm going to be a voice when I get out. I'm going to be a voice for those that are still lost, because who better to offer guidance and assistance than somebody who's been there,
Right.
than somebody's that you know.
But that person has to be real about their
Oh, yeah.
situation and
Yeah.
what they've been through.
Yep.
You Jess, you know, there's people out there that are
They're
still in
faking to-
denial,
Yeah.
and they are the fakest
Fake it to make it.
motherfuckers. You know.
I was that fake it to make it. I mean, I have warrants for my arrest. I'd run to the lighthouse.
You get a half in your pocket, and you're the man. Anyways, so I relapse, and I relapse hard. That I get in trouble March of 2018 again.
I remember.
Okay, it hit the news, and 4 months prior to that, I started to use the needle.
Damn.
So, I lost a lot. You know.
Yes.
I was in denial that my life was good. I never went broke. I always had money. You know. I think I did my own addiction right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my kids, I was paying for 3 households. I was taking care of them, but my main goal was my own addiction. Nothing else.
Yeah. Nothing else. Nothing else.
Nothing else.
Nothing else.
So what I've lost time with my children, and I have kids that went from being children to adults
While you're still using.
while I'm still using, and the relationship, you can never make up for those days.
No.
You can never bring back. And in all reality, they tell me, "Don't worry, Mom, you know, they're good," but they have trust issues. And I have to be honest about that.
Yeah.
You know, that every time I'm going to walk out that door, they have that look in their eye and wonder if I'm going to come back. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
So now that they're adults, when I don't, like, now that I'm doing this candid and they see me on camera, they're okay. You know, but then when I'm off camera and I'm taking a little long to get home, they're on that phone.
And that's your accountability.
Right.
Yeah. Your kids are now old enough to hold their mother accountable.
Yes.
Because you value their opinion, you value their thoughts even more so now than you did when they were younger.
Right.
Because they have that freedom of expression, you know, to tell you, Mom, stop your shit.
Yep.
You know, come home to us.
Yep.
You know.
And back then they wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
They wouldn't. They would just hope and pray that I came back.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't come back for a couple of days. You know?
I remember being gone for, weeks. The States is when it hit me hard too, because the lifestyle in the States is completely different here. Mm-hmm. The streets are the streets back there. They don't play. I lived under a bridge for some time back there. Under a bridge on PCH Highway, people. And that was a struggle in and of itself. Though I lived there by choice, I had the means to go move back to my uncle's and live with them up in the Bay Area, but I wanted to stay down in L.A.
Because we choose our addiction.
Yeah, it was happening in L.A.
Right.
You know, I had drugs at my fingertips.
And for families who have people like us in their families, you know, it's not, you know, I know they say, well, why can't she just choose the right thing? Or why does he keep doing this? It's not, I'm not making excuses for us, but it's not a choice. Yes. Today that I'm sober, it's a choice.
Yes.
Every day, I've been sober for 1 year and 7 months today. How long have, I know you've been?
3.5 years.
That it never goes away.
It
never goes away.
The risk for relapse is always there.
Always. It didn't matter because I was clean for 6 years. I was doing good, Riley.
You were doing so good.
I never thought that I would have relapsed.
What we just got to maintain and remember is that I fall in love with my life more every day now than I ever did before. And that's what I maintain. I make sure that when I wake up, I fall in love with myself all over again. Sounds a little bit conceited, you know, but you have to fucking love yourself first before you can even love anyone else or do anything else. You got to be able to formulate a plan and execute that plan and have the will and desire. Bottom line, it boils down to how bad you want it.
But setting boundaries for yourself.
Yes.
Because if you know relapse is a process,
Mm-hmm.
I don't just go get the dope and use it. I said to myself when I woke up, my cousin has dope. I'm going to go check my cousin.
Yeah.
It's a process. It just doesn't happen overnight.
No. Miss Val Rages, who I had several saving graces actually in treatment. Athena Duenas, Val Rages, Nani.
Those are women that have been a part of this struggle and have helped a tremendous amount of people.
Yes, and they were hard on me. They were hard on me. Every time I had warrants of arrest, you know, where the hell am I going to run on Guam? So I run to the lighthouse.
Yeah, because it's hard to run from the feds.
It's hard to.
The local government, you can get away for like a year, 2 years, you know.
I actually was on the run from the feds, but then I told myself, I said, no, I can't do this.
They come fucking hard, bro.
And I don't need them coming in guns blazing to my mom's place.
Right.
Because they don't care who the hell's at the house. They're going to come in there looking for you with guns blazing. And I don't need the old lady or the old man to freaking have a heart attack because of my stupid deeds. As a matter of fact, my dad got pulled over one day by a cop, right? And as he opened the door to get his wallet, because my dad's a big dude, a pipe fell out the door.
Oh, shit.
And the cop looked at my dad, and my dad just shook his head like this. And when he got home, he got on me about that. You know, luckily,
your dad could have went to jail.
My dad could have went to jail because of my stupid shit. You know, luckily the cop, you know, knew who he was.
Dude, my mom turned my shit into the cops. Yo, she's like, the cop called me. I'm on the roadway.
She's like,
just,
hey, she got about a half.
No, she turned in some shit, kale, all of that. The cop calls me and I said, yes. He's like, Johnny, this is Officer so-and-so. Do you think you can come into the precinct? I'm like, for what? What did I do? Like, your mom turned in some items. I'm like, leche, that's hers.
That's hers. I don't know what you're talking about. She walked in there with them. That's hers.
That's not mine.
Oh, man.
I've been through some crazy shit. I also had someone shot right in front of me.
Yes, I remember
because
that.
Of ICE,
the streets. When we heard about that on the streets, I was like, Johnny's involved in that. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. You know, and the dude that got shot, I mean, the dude that pulled the trigger, he's a good dude.
Mike. I never met him. That was my first time ever seeing him.
Yeah.
Even to this day, we've never met face to face. You know, it was really it was crazy.
I had a gun. I was walking out of my cousin's house in Kena Court area, right? And as I was walking out, there was 4 individuals that approached me. And one of them said, "You're Jesmin Diola?" I said, "Yeah, what's up?" He clocked me. And right when I was going to turn around and do something, he pulled a gun and put it in my head, right? They were trying to kidnap me and rob me of the dope. Because apparently my cousin had some stupid business and owed them money and took a car from somebody. So I took the car back. The streets just got ugly. The
Yeah.
streets are ugly, people. I'm telling you, the streets are ugly. A few days later, so-and-so gets, there was a shooting that was involved. And about a week later, a shooting occurred.
Mm-hmm.
And right after that shooting occurred, I went straight to the lighthouse. I was like, no, man, we're on Guam. We use coconuts, man.
Mm-hmm.
We don't use guns.
Yeah.
But then that was a realization that shit got real here on the island.
Yeah. It is.
Here on the island,
Streets
shit
are
got
bad.
real. When you start using guns on the island for drug deals, shit is real.
Yeah.
Before they had this respect and this
It's
boundary.
unspoken rule.
Yeah, there's
you know?
unspoken rule of respect and loyalty and a certain boundary that you just don't cross. In this day and age,
And
you
even-
steal from your best friend and you end up smoking with him the next day.
Yep. And even with the drug life here, when I started smoking in 2003, 2004 here, people who smoked the drug hid it from the people who didn't. Right?
Yeah.
You're at a barbecue, you're at a party.
Yes.
You don't just break out the pipe and Now, today's age, people and back then people who used the needle, it was taboo.
Oh,
You didn't
it was
talk
very
about
taboo.
that.
They didn't talk
Even
about
to
that.
people who use the pipe.
Yeah.
You don't talk about it. You deny that you use the needle, right?
Yep.
And now today, there's no you don't hide anything. There's no respect.
There's no
you break out
respect
the
for-
needle here. You do in front of people. You don't.
Because addicts back then, we even had respect for those who didn't use.
Right.
We had respect for those who were sober and whatnot. So we kept our business on our side.
Yeah.
Today's addicts, they don't keep their, man, they go straight to you. They'll smoke in your bathroom if, at your house.
Yep.
And they don't care if you don't use.
Yeah.
I'm from the days when we called a half a $5, and we had 2-piece, a tube and tutor. Those were the olden days. Those, the tube and tutor.
And it was and with you lie that you smoke dope, but when you use a needle, it's a lie on top of a lie.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it's not like that anymore. People just break it out anywhere,
Yep.
and for people that have, it doesn't always have to be jail
It
to
doesn't.
make you wake up,
Yeah.
Sometimes
It could be a death in the family. There's always a catalyst for a person wanting to change themselves. Mm-hmm. Either a light clicked on in their head one day and they woke up and said, I'm done. Or somebody that they've loved has passed on, and that was their only source of strength while they were alive in terms of financial means and whatnot. So it's either be homeless or find a way to make it.
Right.
Then there's others who are put in prison and come out with the desire to maintain a straight life. So anything could contribute to you wanting to be sober. Anything could contribute.
And you have to know when,
You have
because
to know when.
eventually, I can't promise that tomorrow I'm going to stay sober.
Yeah.
All I know is that I'm going to be sober today.
Yeah.
Like tonight. After the show, I'm going to go home. I'm going to turn on my Netflix. And that's what I know is that I'm going to go to sleep.
What I stick to help me stay sober is I stick to a program, a regimen. Every morning, religiously, I wake up at 4 a.m., turn on Kandit, see what's up with Kandit. Then I leave the house at 5. I get home, and I get home around 4 o'clock, and I look forward to coming home to my other half, to spending our nights together and watching TV. And then my phone
And
calls.
eating all the skin off the fried chicken.
Eating all the skin off the fried chicken that I ate, and then I didn't leave her any skin. Spending time with my son and my granddaughter. Let me just be real here. My life ain't perfect. I got issues with my daughter right now. All right, my life's not perfect. I miss my daughter.
Gotta give them space.
Yeah, we had a little falling out about a year ago. So I miss my grandsons. I miss my daughter. I have a 10-year-old that I haven't seen since he was 18 months. I'm paying child support, but I don't got the financial means to go to court and fight in family court because I'm still trying to put the pieces of my life back together. When I'm financially ready, of course I'm gonna go want to see my son. But do I blame the mother of my kids for not allowing me to see him? That's for her to deal with. That's not my issue.
Yeah.
I put the woman through a lot. You know,
Yeah,
I was
I
very
know
toxic.
Carmen. I know her.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I was very toxic. I was very toxic to her. So she's within every right to keep the.
You don't want to rock that boat.
I don't want to rock the boat.
Right.
Man, that
Same
girl will
with
call
me.
the cops on me for nothing, man.
No, same
I
with
swear
me.
to God.
I have a daughter who's 16 today.
Yeah.
And the last time I touched her, she was 10 months.
Wow.
Okay. So, but I'm not paying child support. I'm not. I regret walking out, but at the time that I walked out, there was no way I could have brought her.
Yeah.
You know?
You
know what I mean?
you weren't physically, mentally, and emotionally ready to be there for her.
Right. So her father has raised her. She's beautiful. She looks exactly like me.
Wow.
So I know when her father sees her, he's like, "Oh shit." She even has the shape of my teeth. Like it's
Yeah.
amazing, and the color of my skin. And her dad's white. Okay, that I have to prepare I want her to know that I want her.
Yes.
You know, so I let my family know if she one day decides to contact any one of my family, you bring her to me.
Yeah, because your
You
family's
do not,
back there in Utah.
Right. They're all over.
Yeah.
New Jersey, Texas, California. That if she contacts you, you bring her to me. Now, what I'm afraid of is the questions.
Yes.
Why wasn't she enough? Why wasn't that I have 6 kids, biological kids of my own, right?
Yeah.
That she has 5 brothers and sisters that love her and want her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want her. I want to have that relationship, but it's not up to me because I lost that chance.
Yeah.
I cannot knock on his door and tell him I want her.
Yeah.
That would be selfish of me.
Yes. So I lost my chance.
Right. So now, if she never comes, but once she turns 18, I'm hoping and
Yeah.
I'm praying
Yeah.
that she's going to be like, I do have a mom. I want to find out who she is and where she, because she's this little Chamorro girl
Yeah.
in a sea full of white
people.
people. So, of course, she's going to
She's
be
gonna
like,
find-
"Ooh,
why
why
am I-"
am I like this? Or,
Why-
I'm not really sure. Like, I'm not really sure, but I just hope she's happy and she's healthy and she's going to school. I just hope and pray that when she's ready, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready for her. So and when I'm high, I don't think about those things.
Yeah, that's another reason a lot of people choose continuously stay high. They escape the issues that they have to face head on in life, because 8 tokes and a 10-hour high, I'll forget all the problems that life has to deal with. That life throws at me, not realizing that
It's all there waiting for you.
it's all there waiting for me once the trip is over.
And they just want to see your face.
Yeah.
And they just want, right?
Yep.
And not all drug abuse is caused because of abuse when you're a child or neglect or you know. People,
Yeah.
we are adults,
Yeah.
and you need to take
Responsibility
responsibility for your actions. You
That's
can't
it.
always blame the things that happened when you were a kid,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
we are adults and we choose that. Well, it doesn't. It's not a choice. You try it, and then it becomes
an addiction.
Right. So now that we're sober, it's our choice to be sober.
Yeah, and to segue into game rooms.
Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about.
To segue into the game
I am
rooms.
not. I call it. I ask people if they're victims of the game room, but I'm not a victim. I am
Oh
a predator.
man, I got stories about the game rooms, man. Anything over 3 years, right, is not admissible in court or whatnot.
Right. Yes. Except fraud.
Except fraud.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie. The game rooms are responsible for a lot of indirectly responsible. I want to say that they're indirectly responsible for a lot of the violent crimes on island. Individuals who are wanting to feed their need for greed. Imagine me, an addict. I get high off of half a gram. I'm going to speak in layman's terms for you guys out there to understand. I get high off of half a gram, and I have $300 left. I put it into the machine, hoping to win some more to go get some more drugs. I lose. I leave pissed off already because I lost 300 and I'm not high. So what do? I go get a mask, put it on, go rob the game room.
Yep. Just last week, there was a robbery. The boy was playing on the machine. He jumps in over the freaking cash cage and starts fucking the lady.
Oh, I didn't see that.
They just caught him.
Oh,
They just caught
shoot.
him. It's on the
Is that the
match-
gay dude?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. He was playing on the machine. They have a picture of him. He was playing. Maybe he ran out of money. Maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know. But he ends up going into the cash cage, climbing over the cage, going in.
Oh, this one.
No,
This
it's the other
is
one,
the gay
Prim.
guy. The gay guy. The dude that's last name's Gay or whatever.
Yeah, it's just a recent one, Prim. Anyways, he climbs over. The lady's eating her fucking soup, and she pushes herself back, and he starts fucking her. And then he does something to the door, starts grabbing the money out of the cash cage. A guy comes in with a bat, and the guy grabs all the money and runs. And they only were able to catch him. Is that it? Oh no, that's that other one, right?
See, I can almost guarantee that these individuals are high.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna do this sober. You will not rob a game room sober.
Right.
You know, it's either
Something's driving them.
something's
to do
driving
this,
you.
You know.
I mean, I've lost $10,000 at a game room at one point. In one
30 grand.
in about maybe an hour's sitting, 10 grand, and then I'd go home, grab some more money, put it in. But here's the thing, I also contributed to the crime on island. I contributed to the decimation of the happiness that people should have here, because I was selling drugs and I was committing crimes out there. Now I want to stay here and be up here because I want to be that voice of change.
Same with me. I didn't only sell dope; I cooked it.
Oh gosh.
You know, on this island, a lot of people
You
should
can't
be
cook dope
angry.
on island.
You should be angry at me because I am bringing that filth. And since the last time I got in trouble with cooking dope, I have come to terms with it. You know, it may sound stupid, but there's a big difference between bringing dope in and cooking
it.
dope.
When you're cooking the dope, you're your own. You're the top.
Not the
You're the
good
top.
side. I'm talking about the bad.
Oh, the
part.
bad side.
Yeah, the bad part of it.
Okay.
You know, but my main goal to cook dope was so that I didn't have to do a lot of the things that these women did to get high.
Panty down.
Guam, the women in this society, in Guam's drug world, they have to do certain things in order to get high.
They're known as GPD, the Guam Panty Down Girls.
Yes.
And if you got the shit, they're gonna spread their legs.
And these
quick.
men, the men use it to their advantage.
Yeah. Because it doesn't take much. Throw them a quad. Oh, you got them hooked.
So that was my goal. My mind, whenever I'm using dope, my mind goes into this fucking I'm not gonna beg no motherfucker for dope. I'm gonna fucking sell dope and I'm gonna be good at it and everybody's gonna want to buy mine so that I can get enough to take care of me.
Yes.
You know, I go into this fucking zone and it's not good for me. And I don't know if I'm gonna be okay tomorrow, but I'm trying
okay
every day.
today.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing. And what many
I'm not dumb, you know. I my last job I was a certified medical biller.
you were there for how many years? 5 years?
8 years.
8
I worked
years.
for that. You know, I went. It was just a job that was thrown to me because I just got out of jail, and my uncle helped me and made me go to a class, and then I just started billing.
Yeah.
And there's not many billers, you know. There's more now, but when I started, there wasn't much, you know. And that there's a job I can fall back on.
Yes.
But that still wasn't enough for me
And
because
that's another thing about addicts, right? Let's say you're so lost 20 years doing drugs and you decide to get clean. Don't be afraid to start over.
Right.
Do not be afraid to think that you know nothing.
Mm-hmm. And that's where programs need to come in.
That's where programs need to come in.
And the only reason why there's not a lot of programs or even help, you know, is because people don't want to talk about it.
Yes.
The Guam
they
is
don't.
still in denial about what needs to be done. I did research last week.
Okay.
Or I didn't have to do the research. The research actually came
to
to
you.
me by accident, okay?
Yeah.
I went to court last week, and someone that I was supposed to call to find out if we had any gambling addiction services, and there is
There's
nothing.
none. There's some groups, I believe, self-help groups that you can go to,
Nobody
but nobody
certified. Nobody.
Yeah.
No, but to credit what's the name of that? Behavioral health.
Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness
They
Center?
are. They already went out to get the classes, to get it done, to bring the program here.
Because gambling is it's a silent. I mean, it's just as bad as drugs. I'm gonna tell you that right
If your
now,
mom
man.
send you $20 to go buy lemon, You go to the game room, you don't come home with the lemon, bro.
You're not
Trust
gonna
me.
go.
Trust me.
You're not
Or
gonna
you
go.
tell your boyfriend, I'm just gonna go buy chicken at Payless.
Yes.
You stop at the game room, and then your boyfriend walks into the game room,
Yeah.
and then you guys fight because you were
Oh,
supposed to
man.
just go buy
Yeah.
chicken. It's bad, guys.
I've known guys to my tuition money for the kids, car payments, went to the game room. You know, imagine this. I have $4,000. Smart person, smart dope user will go buy $4,000 worth of dope and sell a little to get a little bit of money for the game room. No. This is how powerful the game room is. I went and I bought a half a gram and then lost the rest at the game room.
Yep.
So I went and I spent $150, $175 and a half out of $4,000, and then the remaining $3,000 something goes straight into the machine. That's how bad gambling is.
Or you're ready to turn in. You're ready to turn in, and they tell you just hold on for 1 hour. And
You go to the
you
game
got
room.
$6,000, and you go to the game room,
Oh,
and you
yeah.
can't call them back
Yeah.
because you just lost their
Yeah.
$6,000.
And then the game room, it has a propensity.
And when I came back from the States, I met I never dealt drugs, right? So I was at the game room, and I met 2 guys who befriended me. We became friends, and then a couple of days later was the first time. $28,000 was my first drug deal
Wow.
in 2004.
28,000. That's almost a pound.
No, back then it's only, I think, 4 ounces.
Oh, it's 4 ounces.
4 ounces, well, not much.
That was at what?
That was my
300
first-
gram.
That was my first time ever, and that was in 2004.
Wow.
So that's how I started dealing drugs.
Wow. That's 28,000. Damn.
Yeah. So it's the game rooms also breed that.
Oh gosh.
People with money.
I would say 80% of the people that go to the game rooms are drug addicts. Feeding 2 addictions. It's bad enough if you
Some
have
people
one
go to
addiction.
the game rooms to sell dope.
Oh man, I made a lot of money at the game rooms.
Yeah.
I made a lot of money. But the money I made selling at the game rooms, I put it right back into the game room. So what's the point of selling drugs if I'm trying? I wasted all my profits feeding the machines, making the House of Liberty and whoever, rich. Here I am risking my freedom to sell drugs.
All for the game room.
All for the game room. Gambling is an addiction that is. Somebody once told me why they don't want gambling legal on Guam. Because if you go to Las Vegas, 80%, 90% of the residents that live there don't gamble there. Because it's a place, it's a place for tourists. So if we're gonna have gambling places on this island for our residents,
We're fucked.
we're fucked.
That's just like the poker machines when it was allowed here.
Oh, the crown, the triple crown.
The poker machines, the pachinko.
Oh yeah.
Okay? Kids are in the car
Oh gosh.
all day, all night.
Oh, this girl smells like alfalfa, I tell you, God. And she needs to get home and to her kids and shower. I'm over there. There was a game room behind Payless in Oka, in Tamuning. And I'm there for like 3 days in a row. And I got to go take my kids to school. At that time, I'm like, fuck. So.
Oh, I never stay at the game room. I'm sorry, I never did that. I never stayed at the game room. I never stayed at the game room to be,
I stayed at
be
the
bachata.
I would stay at the game room, and then to avoid anybody playing with my machine, I put like $20 in on the machine.
Someone's out there.
It's the feds.
I'll let them come.
I'll put $20 in the machine, and then I'll split. Go do what I gotta do. So when I come back, my machine's still there.
No.
'cause
I
there's
put
$20.
an I write my own out of order sign.
Out of
Jello.
order. But I do believe that the game rooms is. It's sad that it's an accepted thing on the island when it shouldn't be accepted. These game rooms really they houses are foreclosed on for lack of payment. Once you cash your paycheck, I know people who have gone there once they cash their paycheck, they go straight to the game room, and then they're stressing out because they put $1,500 in, and their wife is calling their phone nonstop.
My last tax return when I was working for PMC was $7,000, and I lost it that weekend.
At the game room.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
And it's sad because.
And before that, the 3 tax returns that we got in one summer, when Cabo gave all of that, I bought me a car, bought Josh a motorcycle, and that was when I was sober.
Yeah.
You know, you do
gain-
things
oh,
for
God.
your family.
When you're sober, you gain more than you do when you're high.
It's so
I got
true.
4 cars right now. You know, when I was high, I had to borrow cars. You know? I got more shit
So
now than I
true.
have sober than I ever did when I was high. I'm living in an apartment and, hey, Mom, can you pay my rent?
For real.
I'm calling my mom to pay my rent because I don't want to pay my rent because I want to go get high. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go to the game room.
Or you're like, fuck, I'm fucking short $15.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yep.
Never mind paying the car.
You know, and I feel personally, if they rid the island of these Liberty machines, you will see a drop in crime. Mm-hmm. You will see a drop in crime. You will see more families stay home.
You would see more pregnancy.
Oh, 'cause people will be chopping it up.
Hey.
I mean,
we will have baby boomers.
yeah. As much as drug users frequent game rooms, imagine if they stay their ass home and aren't on the streets. Mm-hmm. You know, yeah, they're still getting high, but at least they're home, safe at home,
Right.
doing their thing. They're not out in the streets, letting their mind, you know, the gears in their head go round and round, and end up leaving their family for 3-4 days at a time, then go off the whim, commit a robbery just to bring home some money because they're afraid. The $4,000, the tax return I spent, that was my baby mama's own. I had to call my mom on the way home from the game room at 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, Mom, I just lost $4,900 at the game room. Can you help me, please? She's gonna wake up the next morning and bad trip, da da da. Oh man, my mom could. I said, where am I gonna go get 4,000 at 4 in the morning? So she went to the ATM and she withdrew 400, and then on the way home.
See, I told you Justice's parents would do. My mom would have told me to fuck off. My mom would have been like, "You're fucking,
But
you on drugs?
on the
you
way home,
crazy."
On the way home to our apartment, I see the mother of my kids sitting out there on the stairway, and I'm like, "Fuck!" She woke up, and here she is crying, right? Because I took her hard-earned money. That's her damn money I took. And I went and I fucked it off because I wanted to get high and go slap the machines and play, you know, and try and win because, you know, it's going to satisfy my selfish need, you know. And that's why I didn't blame her for, she beat the fuck out of me that night, you know. And I
On
thought.
too many occasions, I tell my kids I'm on my way, and I stop by the closest game room to my house, and I don't show up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
How many times?
That is the truth. That is
And
so
then I'm
true.
so wigged out or so gone that on one occasion I admit that I left my son at school, and the school called my older kids. Lucky thing I had them, because then CPS would have been called if I didn't have anyone else.
Yeah.
And that is the reality of that drug.
Oh man, I tell you.
And I thank God every day that when I was in my worst, my mom and my sisters and my brother took care of my kids when I couldn't.
Yeah, and
You know?
that's the beautiful thing about Guam is our families would step in to help out with when their loved ones until their loved ones find themselves and whatnot. But it's changing now because more families
Are not putting up.
they're
with
not
it.
putting up. They're saying, "Hey, get your shit, kick rocks.
Yep.
You know, kick rocks. Go do you. You want to do this? Go do you. We're gonna do us."
Yeah.
And
I don't
can I
have
blame
time.
them?
Yeah.
Can I blame the family for saying that? I mean, shit. Everybody's struggling.
I got lucky.
Yeah,
My
so-
mom loved my kids so much.
Yeah.
She provided when I wasn't there, she made sure my kids were safe. She made sure my kids were fed. She made sure, and she did say that to me. You know, you're not doing well. Why don't you go, keep going, and when you're ready, come home.
Yeah.
You know, instead of showing the kids what you're doing. You know,
But
so
the time will come though. Like with you, the time will come where you're just gonna want to stop. I mean, let me tell you, if you're 40 years old right now,
yeah,
and you're still
two times
getting,
I got in trouble with the feds. Okay, I've never been in trouble with local cops. Okay,
No,
never
yeah.
had to deal with them. So that I didn't learn my lessons, but I did try. I was clean for 6 years, and this time around, when I got in trouble in March, I went to jail one day, and I'm like, fuck this, dude. This is not. I am smart.
I am smart.
I am not dumb.
Give me my report card. Show the judge my report card.
You know, this is not you, Johnny. You know, like, you just got your hair did, and
You just got
your nails are good, and
Oh, man.
you don't belong here. You got white Havianas on. Like, come on.
Why not be honest?
And then you have to wear the orange jumpsuit to court.
Man.
And I'm like, this is not happening.
Wearing one of the most embarrassing things was having my folks see me in the orange jumpsuit at court.
My cousin called me a second-class citizen. Like, Johnny, you look like a second-class citizen. I'm like, anyway, on a serious note, Guam really needs to, I think our senators and the people who are able to help, like I have a vision. I have land in Jigo, and I have a vision to help people like us
Yes.
who want it, you know.
Yes.
A lot of the women that do go in and out of jail are repeat offenders.
Yes.
Okay? And that's because they're stuck.
I think with regards to recidivism, 60, I don't know the exact percentage, but majority of the inmates up in Manila are detainees. So they're sitting on idle hands while awaiting adjudication for their court cases. And there's no programs or nothing. Perhaps if there were programs even offered to detainees, that could still give them some shred of
They
hope.
cannot, Jess, because the detainees are covered by the judiciary.
Yeah.
So that's where the money has to come
It has to come
from.
from the court's budget.
And that budget goes to the people on pretrial release.
Pretrial release, yes.
But even at that, there's still no programs because they're not guilty.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
So how's about this? I was talking to a senator, right? And I was like, how's about prior to them signing a plea? Because most of them sign pleas that will stipulate, okay, you got to go to ADC,
Right.
you got to do this, NA meetings, AA meetings, and you're going to be on 2-year probation. Prior to their plea, institute already, or give them the option to seek treatment prior to their plea.
Yeah.
So they'll have clean time under their belt, and then once they sign their plea, that probationary time will also help keep them on a straight and narrow. So imagine this: I'm clean for a year because I've done treatment. I signed my plea after a year from the date of my arrest. Now I got 2 years probation, so I'm gonna continue on with this
Right.
because I've been clean for a year. But then again, you can't do that because they're not guilty.
Right.
So it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
So let's work on the ones that
That want.
want it.
that want it.
Meaning they pled out because they are guilty.
Yeah.
Or they just need the help and they want. It doesn't always take jail. You
Yeah.
know? There's some of us that are lucky. I'm not one of those. You know, it had to take something drastic to happen in my life in order for me to wake the fuck up.
Steve Vittori just commented that they could do it. There's no reason that they can't. Well, perhaps, hopefully, that's something that the senators or somebody.
Well, we need more lawyers
Like Steve.
because
Steve's
he's an
a-
advocate
Yeah,
for people like us.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. He doesn't look at. In my
He
personal
doesn't look
opinion,
down at people like us. He wants to figure out a way to help.
I've seen it in court a few times, and actually, I do remember him representing me as a public defender on one occasion on my violation.
No, he was my when my first ex-husband. I've been married
Yeah.
twice, divorced
Yeah.
twice. Okay, my first ex-husband divorced me. He was his lawyer.
He did, and we also, you know what else we also need out there? We need individuals in the court system that are passionate about their job, that don't look at the job as just a job,
Right.
that they're passionate about executing a program that is already in place, like adult drug court,
Right.
and not looking at individuals like they're a case number. Look at them like they're people.
Yeah.
They're people who are lost, because every single family on this island has either been affected directly
The
or
whole
indirectly.
probation system. Not all of them. There's
Some of them.
There's some of them.
Samantha was good.
Oh yeah, I like.
I
Sam.
love Samantha. Samantha Brennan was-
A lot of the ladies are good. I can name a few that's not, but let's not name
Yeah.
them. Some of the men are really messed up,
Messed
but
up.
there's a handful, because they know me down there. You know, I make.
You make it known?
I make it known. You know, that little black motherfucker. What's his name? Martin.
Oh, Martin.
Oh,
Martin.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Martin.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that dude. Check this out. It just popped up on my
I got
face.
that motherfucker on camera.
It
Yo.
popped up on my
After that,
Facebook memory?
Wait. After that, there's no more camera allowed. No more. You need to shut off your phone.
I went into drug test one day. I passed my piss test, so they swabbed me. I passed my swab test. Then they bagged and tagged my piss. Then they searched my car
Well,
outside. And I was like, damn, that's too much.
they're
And it was
just
Martin.
picking on you.
It was Martin.
That guy needs to get a new job.
It was Martin.
If you don't like your job, get out of there. You know, if I know when someone's sincere,
Yes.
and that's just because I'm a people person.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a probation officer, you learn. You go to school and you learn how to watch for people who are gonna relapse. You know,
Yeah.
You watch for change. Usually, people that have
Exactly.
changed, that want change, they check in at the same time every week. If they're supposed to be there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, they usually come at the same time.
They develop a pattern.
Yes. So, and you go to school for this.
Yes.
You know, you go to
To
school
identify.
to identify these things, and then you have to communicate with people. If you automatically talk down to them, of course I'm going to be defensive.
Yeah.
Of course I'm going to get angry if
Yeah.
you're going to automatically talk down to
Yeah.
me. So of course you're not going to get what you need out of me.
Yes.
And what makes you think I'm going to be honest with you when I feel weak?
Yes.
You know, so
Yeah.
so they really need to go take another class.
They need a class on people skills too.
Yeah.
They need a
Well,
class
I got a class at October 29 at 8 o'clock a.m. And you know what that class is?
What?
Anger management.
I went through that because I had a family violence charge, right? Drug-related family violence charge.
Uh-huh.
It was a stalking, terroristic threats, and family violence. I'm very open, guys. I'm transparent.
Mm-hmm.
That's all said and done in the past. So I had family violence in my repertoire, if you will. And but I want to bring up what Brandy said. Brandy said that the Department of Corrections is turning into a human warehouse.
Yeah.
And I believe she has a point. There needs to be some kind of criminal. Prison should not be the first place. Brandy's husband wrote a piece a few days ago or something that says long-term incarceration, which makes so much sense because long-term incarceration is counterproductive to a person's rehabilitation, and short-term incarceration does not help either for a person's rehabilitation.
Mm-hmm.
So there should be an X amount of time that is suitable for a person, because if you're incarcerated for, let's say, 20 years, you're institutionalized.
Mm-hmm.
You come out, you know nothing but prison.
You are fed breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You are told you're going to stand at the house and you're going to look at your wife or your mom and say, when do I pee? When do I poo? When's count time?
Yeah.
You're institutionalized. We got to see for those with drug crimes, if they can segue into society. Let's say they got 3 years to serve. Make them serve a year and a half. Then the other year and a half
Go to
will be
school,
in treatment or
right?
school.
Yeah, get your GED.
Get your GED and have.
I think 80% of the men and the women in DOC do not have high school diplomas.
I believe so too.
So they need more programs. There's a lot that they need, and it has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Someone has to fight for these people.
Yep.
Now, as far as the United States of America, a lot of the jails there are privately owned, so it's a money thing.
Yes, you're correct. With the federal prison, they have they house in federal inmates in private prisons, and those they have like a whole stock market kind of thing that goes on with it. So there's investors and all that.
But in federal prison, Jess, you get to go to school.
Oh, I'll tell you.
You get to earn money.
Let me tell you. When I was in federal prison, and my counselor came up to me and said, "All right, Jess, it's almost time for you to pack
You
up."
cannot just sit there and do
You
nothing.
can't. You have to do something with your life when you're locked up.
Yes.
I was working in the paint shop, making 9 cents an hour. 9 cents. That'll humble you. You know what'll humble you? Spreading your legs and your butt cheeks and coughing twice. That'll humble you. So I was getting paid 9 cents an hour while I was in
Some
federal
people
prison.
like that, though.
Some people like that. And it's I think the local prison should take the handbook of the federal prison and follow the template of them, because it's the commissary. You know how much money can be generated from the prison running their own commissary, but held accountable?
No, the legislature just proposed a commissary here in Guam for a private
That's the dumbest thing you can ever do.
person to run.
The prison should run the commissary, and you have your vendors to provide what's in the commissary, but the money generated from the commissary should stay within the prison. It helps offset some of the budget.
Yep.
It just doesn't make sense to contract it out to somebody else.
Even the cooking.
Oh man, the cooking, have the inmates used to cook back in the day, but no, they're gonna stab. Da, da, da. In the feds, the inmates run the prison. In the federal government, the inmates run the prison.
You run your house.
They run it, and it's kept in order. It's kept in order. There is no disruption in the program, which is up. But see, the problem with DLC too is there's a lot of good people up there. There's a lot of good employees as well as inmates up there who are smart. There's a lot of smart-ass people locked up in DOC who just made the wrong decision in life and are suffering the consequences. It'd be nice if they've been given a second chance to contribute to it. They've atoned for their sins already, and sometimes the sentences are harsh, but the prison has to be populated to a certain number too, for budget-wise. So and I noticed this when I was in Fez because they took 60 of the islanders and shifted them over to Hawaii to fill the prison in Hawaii because the fiscal budget was just about to come. So they only house you for the number of beds that you have right then and there.
Right.
And that's another reason why it's sad that maybe sometimes.
I think the prison system needs to look into other countries.
Yeah.
Because it works there.
Yeah.
You got to look at a place where it works. Even with drug rehabilitation, there's countries where the public health areas, they give out needles.
Oh, yeah.
They teach you how to be clean. So
Yes.
that, because when you use needles, you can get hepatitis, right? You can get AIDS, you can get all kinds of diseases. So in these countries, instead of it being taboo like it is here in the United States, in Guam, right? Even with sex, right? Instead of educating these kids that when you have sex, you need to use a condom. We need to educate these people so that they're educated when they do decide to use, when they do decide to have sex, right?
Yes.
Kids that are 15, 16, make them use birth control because at the time when they're to make that decision to have sex or not, they're not going to make the right decision all the time.
No.
Because it feels good. That's the reality. So if you put your child on birth control, not that you're condoning them to have sex and saying, here's birth control, okay, go and fuck.
You're being proactive.
You're saying, you know what, let's put you on birth control because you might not be able to make that right decision, but when you do, I want you to protect yourself.
You're being proactive.
Right. So let's talk about it. And in the other countries, their drug, they educate their people about the drugs.
Yes.
They don't pretend it's not happening. You know?
Yeah.
So I think we need to look at models of other countries where it works.
I believe there's in Ireland and in what other country was
Because
that?
it's not working. What we're doing is not working.
There was this country where your cell was set up like a home, literally like a home. You had a couch, you had like a small little kitchen in there, and it's an actual prison, but they wanted the inmates to feel some sort of connection to society. And the day-to-day duties, the simple things of getting up to freely cook your own meal that we take advantage of out here, those are the simple things that will help a person stay connected to society and also feel independent.
But also, when you get out of jail, Jess, you don't have gas to check into probation 3 times a week, sometimes 5 times a week.
You're right.
Sometimes once a week or even once a month.
You're exactly
Our
right.
transit system sucks.
Oh, shit.
It does not work. You need to go to Oasis or you need to go to the Lighthouse 2 times a week or 3 times a week. How are you going to get there?
Exactly.
There is no programs that will help you get there.
Yep.
And for some of us, we're lucky because we have our family.
Yeah.
Troy has great ideas there's a lot. Troy's platform, can I just say that?
Yeah.
His platform is very well written. So, what are the comments?
Okay.
Because we've been on long, right?
Yeah. Lance D, how
What's up,
would one
Cheto?
how would one go about helping a family member that needs help without being criticized or bashed on?
Who's doing the bashing?
Yeah.
If me as a person and I needed help and I wanted help, but I'm afraid I'm gonna be bashed, I wouldn't go to somebody I didn't trust. You gotta go to somebody you can trust, or you can call Jesse.
Yeah.
Or you can call Troy, or you can call me, and we can give you to the right people.
Yeah.
Right, Jess?
I think what he's saying is, like if I'm your brother and I'm gonna approach you and you're gonna bash on me.
Because I'm the user,
Yeah,
or you're the
because
user.
you're the user, and I'm trying to
You
tell
can never approach someone. People will not. I don't care if you dangle their life in front of them.
Yeah.
You could never be the one to tell someone else they have a problem. The person with the problem has to be the one to
accept it.
Yes, and to
Accept
step
it.
out of his comfort zone.
There's a certain level of freedom that comes with acceptance. Like, I don't give a fuck what people think or say about me. That's real talk. I do not
I don't
care. I do not care. You guys cannot, replicate everything I've gone through in my life, and your little minuscule comments not going to hurt my little feelings. That's why I try to keep it real and talk to people straight. And I am the way I am because of what I've gone through. So if there's somebody who needs to be taught, like my cousin, he recently went in on a violation. I called him up a couple weeks before the violation, and I said, "Cuz, you good?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good, Prim, but I'd be better if you give me $100. And I'm like, "That's just not going to happen. Get your shit together." I talk to him like that.
Yeah.
I just keep it straight and keep it real. And I'm not going to
I just think even with me, with the criticism that I get, because I get it all the time on the live shows, on comments, people talking shit to me.
Yeah.
I take the ones that matter. I read it all.
Yeah.
And the ones that I feel like they're right, I'll never admit that person's right, but I'll take that and I'll say, you know what? You do have a fucking problem, Johnny. That is a problem, and you need to fix it.
Yeah.
So every day's different. There's some good. We get good comments and we get bad comments. But because I do this, I'm ready.
Yeah. You're ready for the barrage of comments.
Yes.
Yes.
Give it to me. I want to know. I want to know how that's gonna make me better.
The thing I like, I want people to be straight up with me and upfront with me. Hey man, I got character defects that I got to work on every single day. Nobody's perfect, and I don't claim to be perfect, but I tell you what, I'm happy every fucking day. And if you can just maintain a positive attitude and a positive outlook on life, you are who you roll with. If you want to stay clean and sober, yet you're still hanging around with people who are using, man, shut the fuck up. You don't want to stay clean and sober because you're still hanging around with people who are using.
Yep.
If you want to stay clean, there's only one thing you got to do, and this is what Val Ray just told me. One thing you got to do, one thing you got to change, and that's everything.
Yep.
And don't be afraid.
Now, if you're saying it's hard, it's just an excuse.
Yep. She also told me this. She said, Mendiola, you can't be 1 foot in the door and 1 foot out the door. It's either you're in or you're not.
You gotta jump.
It's simple. You're in or you're not.
Yep.
Now, once you're in, and let's say you want to get clean and sober, and you come to me and you tell me you're in, I'm gonna grab you and I'm gonna hold you in. I ain't letting you go, because I'm gonna make sure that you are pointing in the direction that I feel the potential of what you can be will be, and that's just me.
That if everyone in your circle, even if you touch one at a time, but you need to also be very careful when you are trying to help people because sometimes that could drag you back in.
Oh, yes.
So that's where you have to set boundaries.
Yes. And you know what? If you or a family member out there is struggling with using, baby steps.
It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah, it's not. It's like a child who nurses on his mother for nurturing and growth. You got, your sobriety will be in its infancy. You're still a baby in sobriety.
Don't test yourself. Don't after being clean for 2 days, don't tell yourself, I can go there because I'm clean and they can smoke in front of me and now I'm not gonna smoke.
You're setting yourself up for failure.
You can't do that.
It's scientifically proven that it takes 18 months, I believe, for the part of the brain that meth affects to heal to a certain degree. And that's where clear thought will come back. I think after 6 months.
That's where the clear thought, but it takes 40 days for the drug to be completely out of your system.
And once you have clear thought, never be afraid, man. Don't be afraid. Do not be afraid of change. You never know what's going to wait for you on the other side. You never know. The life I live now, my cousin Matt and I are both clean and sober. He's got like 2 years, 2.5 years under his belt, and I got 3.5 years. We're both clean and sober, and we both talk to each other regularly, and we tell each other, you know what? I don't know what the hell I loved about the past, but I'm loving every minute of right now. I am loving every minute of right now. You just take one day at a time. You cannot climb Mount Everest and expect to reach the summit.
Yep.
Just like that.
The last time I saw Matt was at probation checking in.
Yeah, he's doing good right now, man.
Yeah, I saw him.
I talked to him on the phone. I said, hey, I'm going to be on Kandit. He's like, what's that? What's Kandit? because Matt don't have Facebook. He can barely navigate WhatsApp. You know, so I'm like, that's the whole Johnny and Troy and Facebook thing. He's like, okay. I say, by the way, I'm gonna use your name, all right? He's like, why? Because the more stories people hear, the more hope they have.
Yes, very true.
And those of you who are recovering addicts, who have made it, and have sober time, share your story. Do not keep it to yourself. Do not share it. If not to the world, share it to an individual, because you never know, that individual could be silently battling an addiction that we don't know about.
Right.
And that person could walk away with what you say, with more than a grain of salt.
Yep.
It'll be spice to his life with what you're saying. Never be afraid, and never keep what you've learned.
You gotta share.
You gotta share and give back.
Yes.
You gotta share and give back.
Oh, there's a lot of comments. You're missing the comments.
Steve Vittori says, exactly, give back by sharing and showing what's possible. Awesome job. Puoani Eva Sala says, awesome job, Johnny and Jesse.
Thanks, Eve.
Here, you read it.
Yeah.
You read it.
Your boy is watching him.
My boy?
No, Johnny.
Oh, that's Hills.
Oh.
Vince Cruz, one day at a time. Yes, Vince. Tatania. Nauta, much love to y'all.
Baby good?
Straight out, Johnny, Jesse. Ness says hi to Eric. Did you say Eric? Eric, did you say hi?
I will now.
Okay. That's what's up. Steven says Johnny. And Steven, it's with an IE, not an Y, okay? I really don't like people spelling my name wrong.
Dad. She's named after her dad, by the way.
I am.
She
Because
is named
we
after
have
her
the
dad.
same birthday.
Yeah.
That's why. But mine's with an IE. Just letting everybody know,
Yeah.
okay? Johnny, Jesse, you guys are my heroes. Thanks, Steve. We really need to get together so we can figure out programs and how to get grants.
Brainstorm. Sit down and brainstorm and just, put our collective thoughts together and come up with ways that we can make Guam better again.
Kelly Doe says, hey, Jesse, right on, brother. Yes, Ness, Biba, Troy Torres. Who ditched us? Julie Padua says, they belittle us because of our wrongdoings. We are bad, no good people to them. Instead of supporting or having faith in us, but wait till one of their family members or person of interest to them. Wait. Gets in trouble with the law. It's a whole different story. Usually it does take that.
Yeah.
It does take and God has a way of doing those things,
God has a way of humbling
Yes.
you. I was belittled. And lo and behold, some of the people that were belittling me, their own children got into the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And they would have never thought, my son or my daughter's going to be doing drugs. Now they're going to turn to me for help.
Yep.
But will I turn them away? No.
Never. I wouldn't.
I can't turn them away. Even though you said
I
you
honestly,
said.
when people who have, talk down to me, and then when they do come, those are the people that I'm more than willing to help, because that means they're really crying for help, and I don't feel like, oh, now you want me, or I just feel like at that moment I'm able to help.
Yes.
Thank God our path, whether they belittled me or not, our path crossed for a reason, and this is the reason.
Yep.
So God has a way of doing that. And yes, Julie, I'm sorry that you go through that. And if you need any help, if there's any way Troy and I can help,
Or myself.
Or Jesse, please contact Kandit. Our office number is 922-6397, and Troy's number is 456-4237.
To get back to gambling, are they going to put it? I believe that they should put it to a public vote. A referendum, and I can almost guarantee that the vast majority would oppose.
Of course.
these
They
liberty
did a
machines.
vote already, Jess.
They did?
Guam voted no.
That was in 2006, though, but that was for the
That
casino.
was in 2000. What year was that? No, it was just this past when they removed the game rooms.
Yeah.
The Liberty machines.
Yeah.
And then they filed it in the courts. Guam voted no. Just recently. Troy knows the date.
Oh.
We voted no.
Why are the game rooms still open? Shut those game rooms down.
Department of Revenue and Tax licensed them again.
Oh.
That's why it's at the court now. So this month we are waiting for the Supreme Court to rule.
Yeah. See, I'm not against anybody making money. You want to make money, make your money.
It's a monopoly.
But what I'm against is families being torn apart. Individuals losing their way because the chance of turning $1 into 1,000.
Find another business.
Yeah.
You may not make as much
Guam
money.
is too small of an island to bring that kind of culture to this culture.
It's here already. It's bad.
Oh yeah, to continue, leave it here. Sus, you did what? Who's that? Sus, you did awesome sharing. All right, Vanessa, ready?
Okay, guys, we're ready. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Please write to us if you have any other ideas that we could do for more shows. If you would like to come on Candid and share your story, please just contact Troy and I. We have a website. It's www.candidnews.com. We also have YouTube at Candid News Group. And we also have a Samsung or Google Play ad. Or what is it?
It's not yet,
An app.
not yet ready, right?
It's ready, but
It's ready, it just needs
it just needs
to be fine-tuned.
to be fine-tuned. But you can still look for it. Look for Candid News Group on the Play Store.
And stop reporting Candid to Facebook jail, please.
Oh, we're out of jail tomorrow.
Y'all gotta stop doing that, man. They speak real shit, man. Come on.
Thank you for joining us. Please, if you have any ideas, if you want to come on the show, because I think this week we're going to be really busy with our investigations. There's so much happening right now. But thank you so much, Jess.
Oh man, thank you for having me.
Thanks, brother.
I'd like to give a shout out to my other half right over there, Leanne Michelle Cruz.
Leanne and I are really we're like best friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just so happened she started dating him. I'm like, hey, let's say I know them.
She's the best thing that
No,
happened to me
when I
since
found out
sliced
you
bread.
guys were dating, I'm like, he must be doing well.
Yeah. But she likes bad boys.
No, I called her up. I said, hey, you're dating that Jesse Mendiola? Huh? Is he doing well? Better treat you right. I'll freaking choke him. But yes, thank you everybody
you.
for joining us. It was a great show.
Yes.
And good night.
Good night.